over there, it was kind of a survival thing because you needed God.
For Sahar Kamsia, attending sacrament meeting in Jerusalem meant sometimes risking her life just to get there. Sahar is Palestinian. She was born in Jerusalem to a Christian family and grew up in a town in the West Bank close to Bethlehem. For all of her life, her homeland has known conflict.
And I remember just being scared of the soldiers because they would come to my school and fire tear gas bombs and rubber bullets. And you know, Palestinians in general have a hard life. Our economy is not good. We now have checkpoints and walls. We're not free to travel.
You grew up Christian. Mm-hmm. Give me an idea of what were the practicing beliefs in your family.
So my family is Greek Orthodox. My mom used to believe in God, and but throughout the years, just with difficulties, she started to wonder, you know, why would God, you know, allow hard things to happen and bad things to happen to our people?
As a young woman, Sahar was an excellent student, earning scholarships from various graduate programs in the U.S. Despite not knowing much about the LDS Church, she decided to attend Brigham Young University.
I'd heard some rumors about the Mormons, and I was kind of scared at what kind of people I'm going to run into. But one day they told me they were listening to General Conference and told me a prophet was going to speak, and I was kind of curious. I'm like, this is crazy that Mormons think that there's a living prophet, so I wanted to see what he looked like.
As she watched conference, the messages she heard touched her heart.
So I started reading the Book of Mormon and going to church, and I just loved it more and more, and I knew that I found the truth.
Your family was Christian, but certainly didn't anticipate that. What was their reaction?
So they did their best to get me to leave the church. They would try to tell me that I betrayed my family, that I'm betraying my people. In addition to that, I found myself, you know, the only member in Bethlehem, and the only branch of the church was in the Jerusalem Center. And Palestinians living in the West Bank were not allowed to go to Jerusalem. So I found myself having to kind of sneak in to get to church. And so I started to kind of try to avoid checkpoints, climb hills, and then it got more difficult when the wall was built. So one time we had curfew imposed on us, and curfew is you can't leave your house. You would get shot if you leave your house. And I had to give a talk in church that Sabbath. And I'm like, well, let's see, how do I do this? And I knew it was dangerous to be in the street. So I said, Heavenly Father, I'm just going to walk outside. That's all I can do, and you do the rest. And I just opened my door, went down the steps, went onto the street, and there was this taxi. He's like, I'm going to Jerusalem. I mean, of all places. And so I got on the taxi, and the taxi kind of avoided the main roads, which had soldiers on them. And then when there were no roads to go on, because there were soldiers everywhere, he kind of went off the road, went into this hayfield somehow, and I made it. And I look back and I say, it can't be coincidence. Like, it's just miraculous, because, you know, Heavenly Father needed me there, and he got me there.
Sahar recently wrote a book called Peace for a Palestinian. In it, she shares her experience searching for peace and joy. What do you hope other women get from your life story?
I think one key thing is that peace and happiness are not dependent on any situation you're in. That you can have peace and you can have happiness and joy, even if you're in the midst of war and difficulties. At some point, you just have to let go and trust that He knows you, He knows what He wants for you, and whatever He wants for you is way better than what you have in mind for yourself.